friends. Hello, hi, how are you? Hope you guys are having an amazing day today. I don't know when I'm posting this, but I hope you guys are having a great day today. I'm freezing. It's freezing up here in New York right now. I know Chicago's getting hit really bad, but New York is also pretty cold. Everywhere is like -degrees Fahrenheit, which is very, very, very cold for us. So we're kind of just, you know, freezing. It's fine. Today we are going to be doing something I'm very, very excited about, and that is a Slays and Nays. I haven't done a Slays and Nays in so long, and I love doing them because I love like recapping on products that I've bought over the few months. I used to do one every month, and then I felt like I wasn't buying enough to accurately have like Slays and Nays every month, so I've kind of been doing them seasonally, but I realized I hadn't done one in a really long time. So I wanted to do a winter Slays and Nays where I could kind of sit down and show you guys. A lot of this stuff is stuff I got for Christmas, which a lot of you guys have been asking my opinion on. So a lot of this is stuff I got for Christmas, and then there's also just some random stuff thrown in here as well. For this one, there are 5 Slays, 5 Nays, and one that's just okay. And it's kind of what I'm throwing in here because I don't really feel like it's bad, but I don't really feel like it's amazing either. So let's get started. We're gonna start with the Slays. The first thing on my Slays is your Backstage Face and Body Foundation. I absolutely love this foundation. If you are a medium coverage queen like myself and you like not like super full coverage, but you still want to cover up some stuff, this is perfect for you. This is such a your face but better situation. The bottle is very, very small, and I don't love the applicator because it's gonna squirt. I'm gonna waste product right now, but it squirts kind of everywhere, and there's no way to really, there's no way to really avoid it. It just kind of gets messy really easily, which kind of sucks. Wish they had put in like a fun, cool little pump to make this a little bit easier to use. But the foundation itself, I find amazing. I think it's so good. It's been one of my go-to for my day-to-day life, not necessarily filming, because I'm like usually a little bit more full coverage when I'm filming because the lights are unforgiving. I'm usually a little bit more full coverage then. For my day-to-day life for school, I find this to be perfect. I do think it is a tad expensive, but again, you're getting 1.6 fluid ounces and it's $40. So I don't think that's terrible, but this has been my go-to everyday foundation for just my day-to-day life, not just filming, like my real world life, because I think it's a really beautiful coverage and a beautiful finish. It really goes on just like skin, and it's just kind of like a your skin but better look, but it gives a little bit more coverage than a normal BB cream that's supposedly like a your skin. Am I making sense? Like, it's just a little bit more full coverage BB cream, and I like it a lot. I really would highly recommend this to you guys if you're looking for that type of coverage, because it's beautiful. I love it. Also, I should probably tell you guys like my skin type, because I feel like people always ask when I do videos like this, because they're like, well, it works for you. I have very normal skin. It's not particularly oily and it's not particularly dry. It's kind of just right in the middle, but I am slightly acne prone and I do have some redness. So for me, this is perfect. And I have the shade 1.5 neutral. I find that to be a perfect shade. However, in the summer, probably gonna be too late, but most foundations are. Next thing I wanna talk about that is a slay is the Fab Skin Lab Retinol Eye Cream. This is from First Aid Beauty. They did send this to me through Octoly, full disclosure. However, I do really like it. I was using the Saturday Skin Under Eye Cream, which I loved because I felt like it really got rid of a lot of the like texture that I have in my under eyes and even just in my pores. This whole area felt really nice when I was using that cream. I switched to this one because I feel like retinol works very well for my skin. It does something that's very helpful for me personally. Again, normal skin, so I don't really know what that means, but I switched to this one and I find this one to be really good, and it's cheaper than the First Aid Beauty one. I find this to do the same exact thing, and something cool about this one is that it is fragrance free, which I know a lot of people like you guys appreciate that type of thing. I do feel like both work really well. It's more just a matter of this one is cheaper. So this is the one that I'm gonna end up rebuying when I run out of it. I was gonna rebuy that one, then I got this one, and now I feel like I'm gonna rebuy this one when it's out because it's cheaper, and I personally think it works the exact same. So yeah, it really helps with texture in the under eyes, crinkles in the under eyes. I've even been putting a little bit on my eyelids just to kind of get rid of some creasing up there, and that's definitely been helping. So I would highly recommend maybe getting a sample to try it out. I always recommend samples with skincare because sometimes skincare can be so weird, and it sucks when it's like expensive too, and you spend a lot of money on it and then it doesn't work for you. So always like get samples first, but I personally think this works really nicely. Something to look into. The next thing is the Milani Baked Bronzer in the shade 04 Glow. I received this for Christmas, and the only thing that sucks is the packaging broke already. It like popped right out, which made me really sad. You can pop it back in, but it's just one of those things that's kind of annoying. However, I think Milani's one of my favorite drugstore brands. Milani and Makeup Revolution are two of my favorite drugstore brands for sure. I love this bronzer. It's a perfect color for me. It really is a little bit more warm tone, so if you don't like warmer toned bronzers, you might not like this. However, I think this is beautiful. What it reminds me of is, I think this gives me the same vibe as the Milani Baked blushes. Specifically Luminoso is the one I have that is one of my favorite blushes. It has glitter in it, so it's kind of scary when you first see it, because you're like, because anything with glitter in it, I'm instantly on the defense, like, because I don't want glitter all over my face. It's just not the look I want. But similar to how the Milani Baked blushes do it, this gives you more of a luminosity than just glitter on your face. I'm actually wearing it today, and it just gives you kind of a glow, like a glowy bronzer, which I think are hard to find, because some glowy bronzers are either too glittery or they don't have enough shimmer and glow to them, and this one is the perfect glowy bronzer. This is like the best glowy bronzer I've ever found. I'm obsessed. I use it like every single day. It has replaced most of the other bronzers that I love, especially for day-to-day wear. I really grab for this because it's very natural, glowy, and pretty. Similar, I feel like I've just been more of a like medium coverage kind of girl lately, and I just kind of want something glowy and simple for school. I don't want to walk into school with like a cut crease and like chiseled to perfection. Like, I just want to look natural for school, and this provides that for me, and that's why I love it. It's also like $8, which I think is a great deal, and the pan size is like super big. You can even see, I think, the like gold reflex in it. It's really nice. I've never heard people really talk about this Milani bronzer, but I personally really like it. If the packaging didn't break, I would like it even more, but personally, like, I think this is fantastic. Going along with my wants and needs for a more glowy presence at all times, I really have been loving the Wet n Wild Color Icon Ombre Blush. I have this in the shade Mai Tai Buy You a Drink, which I think is really clever. I initially wanted the purple one. My mom messed up the order and got me this one, but I'm actually glad she did, because I think I'm gonna wear this a lot more. You can see it's kind of an ombre effect with like a peach, from like a really light yellowy to like a peachy color. This is first of all, I will say I like my Milani Luminoso better than this, but it gives a similar effect where it's a very luminous blush. This one might have a touch more glitter to it. It's a little bit more glittery, but especially on natural days where I'm not going to wear a super blinding highlight, this is fantastic. It's very glowy. It's also like $3.99, which is high key like a huge bargain. I want to get more of their Color Icon, these ombre ones. I love their normal Color Icon blush formula, so I was unsure if I would like the more satiny formula, but I do. I absolutely love it. I think the color is really good for me, but I think if you're any darker than me, this is going to be too light for you, just being completely honest. I don't think this would work for all skin tones. Definitely not, because it's a very like kind of light blush from within-esque blush, but I think it's beautiful, and I love a peachy pink blush, so this is like perfect for me. This is right up my alley. I think this is fantastic, and this, again, this is only like $2.99. So, and the only thing that sucks though is you can't buy them in stores. Most stores don't have these in store anymore. They only have them online, so you do have to buy it online from either Wet n Wild or Ulta, just so you guys know. I know that's a deal breaker for some people, which I get. For the final slay, we have the Huda Beauty New Nude Palette. Now, I clocked this because I thought it was boring, and I really did think it was kind of like it just didn't look super interesting to me. Like, the colors didn't fascinate me. I wasn't obsessed with how the colors looked. In person though, this is a gorgeous palette. The chunky shades that I was initially quite worried about, like Fantasy and Charmed, I'll show you guys some swatches. This is Fantasy and this is Charmed. They actually show up not chunky at all. They're more like duochromes, but it's a duochrome I've never seen before. It has like flecks of glitter. I don't know, this shimmer formula that's like looks chunky but isn't very unique. Like, the formula of this palette I find to be incredibly unique. I've never encountered shades like these chunky glitter ones before that look like, I've never seen anything like that, which makes this very unique to me and makes it worth the price point for me. However, I don't think these shades and this color scheme is unique. I just don't think it's very unique. This has been done before. A lot of brands have palettes like this for a lot cheaper. I don't think you need this. This isn't one that I'm like, oh, you should go check it out and buy it. But I do think if you're interested in this color scheme, if you don't have a lot of palettes like this, or if you just like trying new formulas like me, this is something that you could look into and definitely like. I know there's some stuff going on with Huda Beauty. I feel like it's not an informed review if I'm not telling you that there is a lot of negative things with that brand and a lot of shade with that brand and a lot of bad things that the owner has done and that the company has done. However, I received this as a gift, so I'm trying to review it from like that standpoint. But just know before you buy it, there is some stuff that has happened, and there are a lot of videos that you could watch on it. But But if you're one of those people that doesn't really care about that stuff, this is a beautiful palette. I think it works beautifully. And the reason I'm throwing this in here is because I don't think I would ever do a tutorial Tuesday on this or something like that, getting a whole video dedicated to this, because again, I don't know how I feel about supporting the brand, but a lot of you were asking my opinion since I received this as a gift, and so I wanted to give that to you. It's always awkward when you talk about like products like that. It's so awkward. It's like the worst. This is my kind of okay product. This is the Marc Jacobs Omega Glaze Guilty, but it's spelled G-I-L-T-Y. This was their holiday highlighter. Now, this, you can see I've used it like a bit. Like it's got some use on it. This is beautiful. Like it's very, very, very pretty. The formula is super, super, super unique. You guys can see that color. This is it right here. You guys can see. Super, super unique formula. Glides like butter. Like it just glides onto your skin. However, I think if you are my skin tone, this is definitely too dark for you. I don't think I'm going to be able to wear this a lot until the summertime when I get a little bit more tan. And I think it's a little bit deceiving like in person and on the website, because you look at it and you're like, oh, it's just kind of a gold. It goes on, you guys, it goes on darker. Yeah, it just kind of gives me a weird cast, especially when I'm looking straight forward versus looking at the side. From the side it actually looks quite beautiful, but when I'm looking forward it gives me that weird kind of like orange cast almost, because it doesn't quite go with my skin tone. So I think if you are like me and you are fair, this probably isn't going to work for you. Lucky for you, you have hundreds of gold highlighters to choose from, so you're going to be okay. But I will warn against, because I know I kind of recommended this because I think the formula is really, really beautiful, and I stand by that the formula is stunning. Like it's a gilded, beautiful, you can even see on my cheek, like beautiful gilded glow. So, so gorgeous. But the color is just slightly off for me. So that's why it just falls into an okay, which sucks because it's beautiful. The first nay, which I know everyone is going to be like, is Hourglass Vanish Stick Foundation. Now, this is not a nay because it's necessarily a bad product. I actually think this is a pretty good product. It works well. It's a nice stick foundation. I don't really think it's any better than a lot of the other stick foundations that I own that are cheaper than this. I just don't. That's a personal thing. I just don't think it's any better than those. However, people told me, the reason I asked for this was because everybody told me I was mad about the product amount that you get, because you only get 0.25 ounces, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. I think that is so dumb. And everyone was like, no, once you get it, it'll be worth it. It's so good that it's worth getting that tiny little amount for how much you pay for it. I own it now and I've used it and I still don't think it is worth it. And also, no tea, no shade, you go through this pretty fast. I've only used this, I think 5 or 6 times, and this is all the product that I have left after 5 or 6 uses. That's ridiculous to me. Like that's only 5 or 6 more uses. Like how do people make this last, I guess is my question. I just don't think it's worth the money. I really, really don't. It's not a bad product. I think it is I think it's a really nice formula. I like the formula a lot. I don't think it's a bad formula. I like it. I like the wear time. The wear time is great. Like the foundation itself is good, but they need to be giving you more product. This is such a ripoff for the price and the amount of product you get. That's just my opinion. The next thing that everyone was really asking me about for an update was the Lancome Absolute Setting Powder. And unfortunately, this falls in the nays for a very similar reason to the foundation stick, is that this is just too freaking overpriced. I like it a lot. It's a very nice powder. I actually would almost consider this somewhat of a holy grail powder because my under eyes look stunning when I use this. Like they look absolutely beautiful. But I don't think the average person needs this. I think if you're like me and I wouldn't rebuy this. I think if you have very problematic under eyes, you should buy this because you'd probably like it a lot for your under eyes. Definitely makes problematic under eyes look beautiful, but so do powders that are half the price. Like my Too Faced Peach Perfect one is about $32 and this is $60. I think the big reason I have to put this in the nays is it's really not bad. It's a great powder. I just feel like these brands really, really, really overprice some of their stuff, and I think it's to their detriment because I don't think the average person needs to spend $60 to buy this powder. I just don't, and that's why I can't recommend it to you guys. I'm still probably going to use this up, but I won't rebuy it after this is over. Nice powder, too expensive. That's that on that. A lot of this stuff is actually because it's too expensive. Like that's honestly the tea. If you didn't watch my Christmas haul, first of all, go watch it because I love that video. Second of all, I got the entire like I got like like 5 or 6 products from Fourth Ray Beauty, including their cleansing oil. They had like a cleanser, they had a lotion, they had like a drying lotion, they had like all these different things. I used exclusively Fourth Ray Beauty for a month. And ever since Christmas, I've been using it. It's now been a month. I stopped about 5 days ago because it did nothing. It didn't do it literally did nothing. And I stuck to it because I was like, I want to tell people genuinely what I think about this product. And I can safely say that I don't think the Fourth Ray products do anything. The drying lotion, you're so much better off getting Mario Badescu. Mario Badescu's drying lotion is $3 more, and it is so much more effective. The dupe of Fourth Ray. The only thing about Fourth Rays that's better, the drying lotion, is that it does smell less pungent than the Mario Badescu drying lotion, because that one smells really badly of sulfur. But like it doesn't make up for it because your acne doesn't go away when you use the one from Fourth Ray. I don't think the oil did anything for me. The only thing I even kind of liked was the moisturizer. I thought that was really nice, like lightweight, good moisturizer for bedtime. The cleanser made me break out, so I stopped using that pretty quickly after I started using it. That was the only thing I didn't use. And then there was a toner that I felt did not do anything either. I basically, by about 3 weeks, I felt like I was putting all of this junk on my face and it wasn't doing anything. And at some points it made my face even worse. So after the month I've stopped using it. I'm still probably going to keep a couple of these things in rotation. Like I did like the moisturizer. I didn't hate the cleanser, so I would keep it as a backup or like a travel cleanser. I didn't hate those things. They didn't particularly break me out. But like this oil, I'm definitely going to declutter to a friend. The drying lotion, I'm going to declutter to a friend. And the cleanser, I'm going to declutter to a friend because they just didn't work for me. Again, I have very normal skin. So maybe if you have more oil, although if you have oily skin, I would definitely stay away from this oil particularly. I know you probably stay away from oils anyway, but this was like particularly a very oily oil. And if you have dry skin, maybe this would work better for you, but it really just didn't do anything for me. It did nothing. I was really disappointed because I was excited to try the brand, but nothing. The next 2 palettes I have, it's so hard for me to put these in the nays because I love them. I just don't think that they're worth the money. Like, I just have to be honest. So I have 2 of the Pat McGrath holiday palettes. This one I got for Christmas, and this one I bought right before my no-buy. It was the last thing I bought before my no-buy because Pat McGrath was having like a 40% off sale or something, 30% off, something like that. This one is the all shimmery one. You can see it has some really beautiful shimmer shades in there, and then this little one has 2 mattes and is the more like everyday kind of a wearable makeup look that you could do with this, like for sure. I like these. I like them a lot, and I use them quite a bit, especially on my day-to-day looks when I just need a pretty, like a brown in the crease and a pretty shimmer, or I just want like a shimmer. I'll use these ones, especially like this gold is a pretty cool gold. However, the reason I think the Pat McGrath, the big mothership palettes are worth the money is because you get those transformative shades. Those really, let me grab my big Pat McGrath palette. So you can see I have the Mothership 5. I got this last year. And this all of these shimmers are so unique. And that's why I think this is kind of worth the $125. First of all, no makeup is worth $125. But why I would buy another one of Pat McGrath's big palettes like this, because I'm crazy and I love makeup, is because these shimmer shades are incredibly unique. There's nothing I've found that are like them, but I maybe have a dupe. Georgia Harris told me about a dupe that I'm going to try out after my no-buy. However, I think these are incredibly unique. I think they're beautiful. It's worth it to buy a Pat McGrath palette if you're buying something like this because they're very unique. While these palettes are they're very wearable, they're very pretty, these shimmers are not unique at all. Not even like the shimmer formula is like out of this world beautiful, even though they're not like a different type of shimmer. There's no difference between this and say an Anastasia shimmer. Like they're very similar. I just don't think, but it sucks because I do love them. I just can't recommend these. I truly don't think that this is like worth $55 because that's how much these cost. I feel like that is a lot of money to be spending on something that is not necessarily super unique. The only shades in this one that I would say are unique is this really pretty like gold, and there's this more chunky like silvery green gold, like an olive kind of gold. I don't know if you guys can see that. And to me, those are pretty unique. Like, those are pretty, but I have other things like this. Like, I have this shade in my Elmer Cosmetics palette. I have this gold in other palettes. Like, these aren't crazy, crazy unique. The formula is not that amazing. I feel like when I look at this palette, the Big Mama, when I look at her, I'm like, you are stunning. You're beautiful. Everything about this is a luxury experience, which to me makes it worth the luxury price tag. This does not do the same thing for me. I do like these palettes. I think if you're willing to spend a more hefty price tag for something like this is worth it for you. However, for me, I don't think this is worth $55. I probably wouldn't buy the little palettes again. I would just save the money to buy the bigger palette. Like, instead of buying 2 little ones, just buy one of the bigger ones when they come out with more, because I don't think this was worth it. Last nay, and again, I feel like there's a theme here. The price is too high. My Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Bronze and Glow had to be a nay, unfortunately. Now, you can see that just in this month of having this, I have used this Sculpt shade a lot. It's already starting to fade. I've used it quite a bit. I really, really like the Sculpt shade. The highlight shade, however, it's just kind of a sheeny highlight. It's not really a glowy highlight, which in and of itself is not bad. I just will never be able to look you in the face and say that this palette is worth $70. Like, I just will never be able to do it. Is the contour nice? Yeah, it is. Do I have contours, though, that are cheaper that are also very nice? Yes. I don't think this is worth $70. I'm glad that I got this as a gift and not with my own money, because I think if I had bought it with my own money, I would have been even more disappointed, honestly. As a gift, it's just kind of a luxury item that I get to enjoy, which is nice because I don't feel bad about paying that much for it, but I truly think it's way too expensive. Like, I really do. I don't understand why this is priced so high. I don't really understand Charlotte Tilbury's pricing in general. It all seems really exorbitant, and I don't feel like the quality is there. I have heard from you guys that a lot of her stuff is hit or miss, because I did get that Bar of Gold highlighting trio that I absolutely hated because it was awful quality, so bad. This is at least nicer quality. The packaging is a lot nicer, but at the end of the day, what matters is what's on the inside. I think you guys were kind of telling me on Twitter that the quality of her stuff is very hit or miss. It's very random, like what's good and what's not good. And I just think if you're going to be a brand that charges this much money, you need to be making consistently good products. There's no excuse for making somebody pay $70 for like an okay contour shade and a really crappy highlighter. Like, there's just no excuse for that. I'm sorry. I know people love Charlotte Tilbury, and I really do like this palette. Like, I use the contour shade a lot, you guys can see. However, I just don't think it's worth the money, and that's what put her in the nays. And with that, we're done for the day. We're wrapping up. I hope you guys liked this video. I hope it was a little informative and it answered some questions. I know a lot of you guys have been hounding me about like what I got for Christmas stuff. So I wanted to give you a little insight into what I've been loving and stuff and what I've been not so loving from that Christmas haul. Also, a lot of the palettes that I got for Christmas, I'm not talking about this video purposefully, because every week, if you don't know, I do this thing called Tutorial Tuesdays. Every Tuesday I post a tutorial, and I've been doing a weekly palette situation. So every week I pick a new palette to use for the whole week, and then that is what I give the tutorial on. A lot of the stuff that I'm going to be featuring in the coming weeks are going to be stuff I got for Christmas. So I want to make sure that you guys are able to like see those in-depth things instead of me just glazing over it. The only palettes I talked about were ones I probably wasn't going to be doing Tutorial Tuesdays on in the near future anyway. So if you want to know my opinion on palettes, keep an eye out for those Tutorial Tuesdays, because I'll be doing a few of those in the coming weeks. I think that's everything. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, or just like, or just subscribe, or do neither. Honestly, just so happy you're watching me. Thank you for being here. Please stay warm. Please stay hydrated. I don't know, hydration's always good. My merch, my social medias, and everything I'm wearing on my face will be linked down below. And yeah, I love you guys so, so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!